Hello there, and welcome to another Viewpoints. I am your pilot on this one
Oof.
for the one where we're going to space with the editor-in-chief of irrationalpassions.com, Alex O'Neill. Hi, Alex.
Hi. As people keep calling me this, I should tell someone.
Yeah.
Just get the word out. We're looking at some Outer Worlds DLC.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one called?
This is called Peril on Gorgon. Let me load up my save. And so the premise of this is, okay, first of all, I need to say I got a code for this. Full transparency.
Provided by PR. You're playing it on what's this?
PlayStation 4.
Not a Pro, correct?
Oh yes, a Pro. Sorry.
Cool. No, it's good. People like to know, so.
Yeah. So yeah, getting that out of the way now. So I need to set up this DLC.
Yeah.
So it's a little complicated to actually load up this DLC.
Well, it has been 45 canonical years since the Outer Worlds came out.
The Outer Worlds release. Yes,
yeah.
that is totally
in
fair.
the year of our Lord 2019.
Yeah, which felt like forever ago.
Yep.
Go read my piece on the Outer Worlds that came out last year.
Yes, or
please.
20 years ago, depending on who you ask.
Fuck, I was one. So to set up this DLC, to get to it proper, you need to do a late game quest, which is, I think it's Radio Free Monarch, and then you need to then you have to travel to another planet and it props.
Okay.
Now the setup for this is very like a weird. It's you get a package, right? And the package is just like a hand with a tape, and you and your team like read the tape, and it's like, hey, some shit's going down on the moon Gorgon. Come. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Show up.
I don't want to really get into the spoilers, like the story of this, because it's actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
So you come here, and it's very the premise, at least to me. I'm only like an hour into the DLC. I'm still on the first quest, the main quest line rather. It's very like noir mystery of like, hey, something's going down. We need you to investigate. And I just came from this building, the Office of Creative Incubation on Gorgon, and it expands the world a lot in that one building with just like lore, and it sets up like who the bandits, like the main bad guys, like the Marauders are. It sets up as well as, hey, like here are kind of like some inklings of what happened here. And so we're just gonna go to this comm tower and see what happens. So that's totally fine with you.
That's obviously totally fine with me. I'm just along for the ride here. Speaking of kind of setting up lore and everything, I think the only person, maybe Scott finished it as well, but the only person that I've talked to extensively that's finished this game, I don't even know, when you beat this game, does it like drop you back out in the world, or does it like reload you to just before the final moment, or
it drops you at the title screen?
Okay.
It does the very much like it has the Fallout ending of like, hey, here are what your decisions amounted to, yada yada yada. And then it says more or less, it just drops you the title screen, and you can reload your save.
Okay.
And go from there.
So you have to go back. You can't. There's no post world. Now,
no.
The thing kind of going off of that I was going to ask, like, do you feel like there is? Do you think they're setting up like a whole world that they want to play in here, or does this really feel like a one-off?
This, from what I've seen, this feels more like it's more world building than anything.
Okay.
And this is something that I kind of wanted in the core game of like, hey, it's a big mystery instead of, hey, corporations are bad guys. This sets up, hey, they're bad guys, but like you get to understand why they're scumbags and why they have done heinous things.
There's nuance,
like this
I
whole
assume.
A lot more nuance in the base game. For example, like the Marauders, I'm going to spoil their lore real quick. They were made by Spacer's Choice. If I can find a logo of Spacer's Choice somewhere, I cannot.
Everybody has Spacer's Choice.
Exactly, right, like right there. It says in that in that first build, like that building I came from, the office, that they were part of a failed experiment. So all the Marauders were volunteers who were failed experiments, and then Spacer's Choice kind of used them to build up an army, but that failed. So, and it does a lot more of the like neat, cool world building stuff of like, hey, this is what actually happened.
Yeah.
This is why you're fighting these enemies. This is why they're evil. Is they were experimented on, they were tortured, and they're not just like random bandits that you find out in the world.
Without getting into anything that ruins it too much, does it feel like, with what you know about this game, that there was kind of a clear canonical ending of the platitudes of choices, or do you think that where they go from here is kind of a big question mark because there's kind of a lot of different states that the world can be left in?
I think to that point, I think there is a clear canonical ending to the Outer Worlds. It's a very like, because you can get multiple endings. It's like, hey, like that was like the core ending was the one I got. It's like the kind of like, you know, like how in Persona there's the good ending and like there's the bad ending.
And the true ending, yeah, I guess.
And the true ending, yeah, I think I got like the good true ending.
Okay.
But to that point, this is more of them just playing in this world, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Is that more interesting or less, do you think?
I think it's more interesting because, like I said before, this is something that I kind of wanted the base game of, a story that was, hey, we're setting up these. Let's see where in the map. Like, hey, we're setting up this story. Okay, it's over there. Like just expanding the world out, because there's a jump in the Outer Worlds where you go to Byzantium, and it kind of just like jumps the whole like arc of characters, and you get introduced like basically snotty rich douchebags, more or less. Sorry for swearing, but that's what they are.
I don't know if douchebag is a swear word yet. I don't know if we've gotten there.
Yeah, fair. But it does, there's that jump, and it feels like there's a whole area that was like cut, and they've said in interviews like, yeah, we cut part of the game to ship it and get it ready. But this feels more like what they cut is like, hey, this is more interesting world building stuff that could have been in the base game to begin with.
So what exactly is the interesting world building? So I assume that you found out that stuff about the Marauders here. Well, is there anything else going on?
It's more of, hey, these are what the corporations are actually up to. You actually see their failed experiments. You see the devastation that they do to worlds. Like this entire place is more like a Chernobyl.
Okay.
There's no one here. They're scavengers, and that's it. And there's like a little pub that the scavengers go to, but it's full of, the entire place of Gorgon is full of whatchamacallit, like mutated creatures, and it's all these marauders. And it says like, hey, this is a failed place. This was a research facility that failed.
Got it.
They're very explicit about that, which is very.
That's cool. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah. Now we're reading this.
Thank you for your diligent commitment.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're trying to figure out what happened here, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. So the premise of this is, hey, the person's hand who contacted you was saying, hey, I'm dead, but this is a job you can do, and so I have faith in you. And so you do it, and you get introduced to a lady called Minnie Ambrose, I'm pretty sure, and she's like saying, hey, my mother's quote unquote dead, but I know she's out there, and I want you to get her journal, and I want to understand what actually happened out here. So it's very much of like, hey, you're just like uncovering what happened.
That's cool.
Which is kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting to play the gumshoe is always a fun time. I know it's definitely tickles your fancy, tickles mine as well.
Exactly. And right as when I got the code for this, I was in the middle of reading Dashiell Hammett's Red Harvest, which is one of the iconic. Let's see where that thing is on the map real quick. I need to go. Where the hell am I going? I need to go to Byzantium. Great, my favorite place in this game. So fucking snotty rich douchebags that ruined that game for me. This game for me. But I was in the middle of reading Red Harvest, and that's about the Continental Op uncovering what had like all this mystery in a place called Personville, and it's called Poisonville because it's full of just crappy people.
Because the person who wrote it talks really cute, like it's Poisonville.
Yeah, it's definitely how Dashiell Hammett talks. I'm pretty sure Dashiell Hammett's very passed away. But it sets up. Wait, I can just fast travel, right? Please, I'm gonna just fast travel. Cool.
If you've been there before, right?
There we go, fast travel. Fast traveling, by the way, fucking greatest invention.
What a great invention, man! You just get places.
Yeah, and so I was in the middle of reading that book. I was like, okay, and I'm already in that gumshoe noir kind of like headspace, fiction wise, and I started playing this, and I'm like, oh, this is like a kind of a sci-fi like version of that, and it's been kind of fun.
Would you approach the idea of the Fallout 4 character, Mr. Valentine or whatever, or is that better or worse?
Actually, I like that character.
Yeah, I know. I like him too.
I know he gets some flack because he's a robot, but he's kind of fun.
That's prejudice. I don't fly with that shit, so.
I know. Robots are cool. They're people too.
Robots can be people too.
They can.
If they want to be.
Unless they're Terminators.
Yes. No, thank you. No, thank you, Skynet. Do you think do you get any inkling as to like how substantial this add-on is? Does it feel like it's a lot, or does it just seem like maybe a couple missions?
I think it's not substantial, but it is that map of Gorgon. It's definitely they add a new place.
Yeah.
And now this quest has us going back to a previous place, Byzantium. So I think they added some stuff in like the core worlds as well. It's not just exclusive to the Gorgon.
Yeah. I feel like there was a season pass for this game, and this is still like the only thing I've heard about.
Yeah, I think they are doing another DLC for this game. It's called Murder on the Orient, I'm pretty sure. Which is also just like totally fun.
Yeah,
also,
totally.
This game takes forever to load on whatchamacallit. My Pro. So
any console. Xbox is not any better, unfortunately.
That's fair.
Next gen load times, man. We're all waiting.
Yep. Oh, and now we're cool. So Ambrose is the people who contacted us originally. So let's give Minnie an update.
Yeah, there are two expansions.
Mm-hmm.
Peril on Gorgon, which is what we're looking at, and then Murder on Eridanos.
Oh, okay. I thought it was on the Orient.
That would be 2 on the nose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. Halcyon Helen's final adventure, and then investigate the dark secrets of one of the most ambitious scientific undertakings in Halcyon. I think that's what it is.
Is that the description for this guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. One of the most ambitious scientific undertakings.
Yeah. It kind of feels like it. It kind of feels like they're building to something.
They're working on super soldiers, right? That's what we're gonna get, super mutants, but somehow the Outer Worlds version of them.
Mm-hmm. I think the Marauder, like once they realized that the Marauders, whatchamacallit, like started going bad, they just kind of like used them to be an army. Then Gorgon went to shit, and then the Marauders spread out through the entire Halcyon galaxy.
Yeah.
Which is a cool like lore bit, because it's like, cool, I'm just fighting all these Marauders for no reason.
It kind of reminds me of Serenity.
Yeah, a little bit.
Firefly vibes, the weird monster people from that franchise as well were created by the government.
Yeah.
And covered up.
And I think this, like I said, this fits more into this world than I really like.
Yeah, totally. That was the thing, like all the characters and how they interacted, and how the world as a character interacted with them in Outer Worlds, I still think was great.
Yeah, I think like there's a lot of good character writing in this game, in the core game. For me, it was just the plot like peters off.
Yeah.
And it misses the points that they try to they score early.
Yeah. Man,
but this gives more of like, hey, it gives more like definition to what they were doing.
Very curious. I don't know if you've watched any of The Boys on Amazon.
I do not. I've been reading at night instead of watching TV.
That's fair. I never watch TV, but there is like I was just curious. I'm like you're depressed. You can't play video games. You might as well just watch some Amazon or something. But
that's a big mood, actually.
Yeah, totally. So I watched it. You know, luckily, 8-episode seasons are like, wow, finally someone is making something I might actually be able to reasonably keep up with. And it's a very interesting, like, anti-corporate show, obviously, and how it goes about and how they've like turned superheroes into a corporation. And it reminded me a lot of this game because of how corporate it is, like straight up corporate, and it's cool. I'd forgotten, because it has been 20,000 years since this game came out. I'd forgotten how it layered that message and how it went about that. There's cool stuff, in both The Boys and this.
Yeah, and I think for me it was like the corporate stuff that they do early on. Oh wait, Ada's got a joke.
Yeah.
Ada's great. Like I said, the character writing in this game is fantastic. I always rock with Nayoka and Parvati, obviously.
I haven't met Nayoka before.
She is the drunk hunter.
Cool.
She's fun. You get her on, I think, the third world.
Yeah, I didn't get that far.
Yeah, Monterey. Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely one of those. And that is totally fine.
Hey, I liked what I played. It was just like 20 million fucking video games were coming out at the time.
Yeah.
Namely Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny will do that. Shadow Keep, baby.
Yeah, Shadow Keep was so good.
Moon's Haunted.
Moon is in Forever Will Be Haunted.
That's the best zone in Destiny. Just like plain out. I'm not even gonna like have any arguments. But alas, we need to go to the Musgrove collection on Byzantium.
Yeah, I'm excited you mentioned this place. I've never been to this place, so
yeah. It's I didn't like what I had to do here. I'll just say that.
Sure.
Because it's very much like this zone is very like, we're finally seeing the people who profit off of capitalism and corporations. And then there's like the game's like goes hard early on saying like capitalism, corporations are bad. This is like late stage capitalism, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come here and it's like, cool, we're not doing anything with those themes we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It just throws it all out the window. But this is Byzantium. I hate it here. It's too clean.
I like it. I like how it looks.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see like Fallout while it was still new, like the cities and stuff like that. So, and
that's kind of what they do here. Let me see on the map where I'm going.
Oh, cool.
This is the map.
I like how it's layered out.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Now, where am I? I'll just keep going this way. But no, that's the thing with this game is that it's a complicated game. It's not. I think games can be complicated, but I just don't think how it muddles. I don't like how it handles the message and how it fuddles it.
That's the thing. I think the more complicated your game is, the more you're going to get people who just the spectrum of different people feel in different ways about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like The Last of Us Part 2, right? Like it's just the more layers you're trying to put into it, the more you're going to get different layers back from the people.
Yeah, fair. Shout out to The Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is like they're complex things, and you can try to like nuance those arguments. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I like to think that I'm very critical on like labor and stuff. And that's something I like to talk about. So like for me, this was like when that thing didn't do it, I was like, disappointment. But what they do Yeah, go ahead.
Did you ever look up to see if there was like other ways the game could go that would be more in the direction that you were interested in?
For what, this?
Yeah.
I think
Like choices that you could have made differently that would have made things go in a way that maybe you would have liked more?
maybe.
Okay.
I kind of like throughout the entire game, I saw like the branching paths as they were presented to me.
Our floors are not made for
Um,
armor.
The Obsidian said, "Oh yeah, like this." Even in the PR email I got, it was like, "Hey, this is something that we want you to play, like the core game, like a few times to get the different endings to see the entire package." In fact, I don't have time for all that.
Yeah, no reviewer actually does. So,
and so let's go to the history.
we can chill on the talking and let Miss Nina Prescott chat for a little bit if you like.
Yeah, I'm looking at what she was saying earlier. I'm gonna go with sounds good to me. But no, I think if the game did better commentary instead of just saying like, "Hey, these are the people that profited off of this," there's a way to handle that. Like,
Mr. Mostly is indeed attending our event, although
he's painted me into a corner here, Alex.
Oh no.
I mean, it's by instead of like showcasing like, "Hey, these are the people that do this," is you show more of the effects instead of like you see the effects early on, but then when you reach this, there's no commentary on it. It's just like, "Hey, these are just the rich people." It's like, okay, cool. I wanted to know what, like, obviously I know how they got rich, but I wanted more world building on that aspect. And like, okay, like, are their families tied into these corporations? Like, and stuff like that.
Where's the
you know what I mean?
Falcone family fall into this? Yeah, I gotcha.
Exactly. Like, where does the Ambrose family, the whatever family, like, how does this tied?
Was there a corp that hired a family or an organization and paid them a lot, and then it turns out that organization was bad, but since they had a lot of money now, the corp just kind of had to saddle up with them, right? Like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I totally get you.
Guaranteed secrecy is expensive, you know.
It's just like, hey, there's rich people here. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, totally.
Like, all right, that's what we're doing.
It's a lot. To be fair, it's a lot to ask for in that first game when they're like setting up a whole galaxy of shit. But hopefully, this stuff like this DLC is getting it there in the way you would want it to be.
Yeah, and it kind of is. It's doing that, like, hey, there's this family who is running the experiments on Gorgon, and then
stolen.
Like, you kind of you see what, like, the corporation's actual effects. Like, you kind of see it in one of the worlds where it's like you have to find like this toothpaste shit. Sorry for swearing again, but it's like it's so.
I remember I did the toothpaste thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
cool.
It's like it's not as deep as I kind of wanted it to be. Okay,
yeah.
It's a fancy look.
But even still, they give you a lot of great options to do with what you will at the end, which adds a depth to it.
Yeah. They're definitely very, like, okay, so we got, like, cockfighting down here. Well,
yeah.
That's great. These guys are scumbags.
Are those robot dogs?
No, those are actual dogs. They're called canids.
Aw.
That's Timothy.
Well, maybe they're all just playing. Maybe it's just a park.
Maybe. I don't know. I like the way how they're standing, it kind of feels like
there's weird vibes, but no dogs are fighting each other, so I think we're okay.
Okay. I'm going to take this money.
Thank you very much.
If it was red, it would be like, oh, you're stealing this.
Oh, yeah. Classic Fallout rules.
Video games.
Yeah, video games. If it's on the counter, it's fair game. It's basically, if it's on the ground, it's fair game.
Exactly. 9 seconds rule.
And also the floor is lava.
Yeah. Exactly.
And as long as you don't get caught, it's not a crime.
Exactly. All right, time to speak with Clarence.
Clarence?
All right.
He's got a cool eye patch.
Yeah, I don't... It's got like 3 straps. I don't know how I feel about the 3 straps.
It's more secure that way, though, you know?
Do you know the interesting thing about Canid shows?
Trick question. Got him.
The dialogue is
showed him. Yeah.
And the one thing I like about this game is how it leans into the more goofy aspect of like the Fallout stuff. Granted, if you want goofy Fallout, play Wasteland.
Over time, the inevitable
I'll just tell y'all that straight up.
Yes.
Are just statistical outliers.
Because I'm playing Wasteland 3, and goddamn.
And that's a little bit of those roots. Like Fallout definitely comes from that too.
Yeah, it's definitely the game that inspired those games. Say you're popular at parties. Shocking, he's not.
Yeah. At least he's self-aware.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, he's an actuary, of course.
Yeah, whatever the hell that means.
It's just a boring person.
Yeah. It's like I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to make it.
It's probably the best.
Yeah.
His last name is Mostly, and he's mostly boring the shit out of me, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
There's your joke. That's why they never let us do Viewpoints together, Quinn.
Oh, I know. Exactly. That name sounds familiar. Mostly Fine Furniture Company.
Yes, gotta make the joke.
Yo.
That's us.
And I was gonna say something about people with fake jobs, jobs, quote unquote.
Yeah, totally.
Jobs that I don't consider jobs.
Like second assistant to somebody that just basically gets coffee or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'll tell you off air.
Okay. An actuary is a business professional who analyzes the financial consequences of risk. Again, boring.
That sounds like the dumbest.
They're literally your risk assessment department.
Then call them risk assessors.
Actually, they wanted to have a fancy word for themselves. That is totally what actuary is too. Like, I'm sure that's how it came about.
Yeah. I'm sure Jarrett Green knows what an actuary is.
Yeah. He's probably sued a couple of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So where is he? Where is this going?
I don't know. He's kind of the guy who knows how to lift. He worked on Project Gorgon, so he knows how to lift the lockdown, which is kind of like. So when we were in that building, the Office of Creative Incubation, like a mysterious figure told us, "Step away from this. Stop investigating." Like,
whoa.
Typical bad, mysterious bad guy stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, you lifted the emergency lockdown, I'm putting it back on. He's the guy who can tell us how to do it.
Got it.
So, we're trying to dig up the dirt, and everyone who was involved with the project wants it to stay buried. Very much very Gumshoes vibe of hey.
Do something for me and
yeah, I was gonna say when does the insurance investigator show up? I think that's maybe you in this situation. So
yeah, most likely.
Find out what happened.
Yeah, kind of make another old movie / book reference. Kind of actually no, it's not. I was gonna say Double Indemnity, but that's kind of not the case actually.
His dog's name is Laplace.
Better average sprinting time.
What the fuck?
Who is this clown?
He's got an eye patch.
It's true. Now I really want to know how he lost his eye.
Yeah.
It's probably relevant, right?
Yeah. I mean, Alex, you know what he's doing? He's cosplaying Solid Snake.
Yeah. And he didn't even get the hair right.
I know.
So I found this eye. Oh, you found his eye.
So that was kind of in the thing we got.
Okay.
That with the hand, there was an eye. You go to the guy's office and it's hey, here's an eye I found that unlocks this building. All right, cool. It's not creepy at all.
The color of the iris. An eye. Well,
how'd you lose your eye?
Space treats every this new monocle. Just say no. I would not try out a monocle from an evil space corporation.
Just say no.
Okay.
Wow, you got 22,000 experience for fucking talking to this mostly loser.
Yeah, I know. All right, I know what I'm doing. All right, bye. I just want to murk you, but I can't.
No. He's too lame. Don't worry about it.
I know.
Where to now? Back to Gorgon?
We gotta go get the trophy, which is the thing behind there.
Oh.
thing I was looking at.
Was it?
earlier,
Were you
but
ever in this building before, or is this the building new?
No, this is new.
That's cool.
So time to go below.
Trying to think. Do you have like a favorite Fallout expansion? I don't know if you ever played them.
I haven't really. I tried playing the Fallout New Vegas ones.
Mm-hmm. I heard those were good.
Yeah, I have. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. I'm gonna get my gun out. I tried playing like the science one, which didn't really jive with me. I tried playing the what's that over there?
I just thought Point Lookout is cool because it takes place in Maryland.
Yeah,
which is very rare for video games. So.
Yeah, I tried doing the. I wasn't big into Fallout 3, so I can't really talk to those guys.
Yeah.
But taking care of these robots real quick.
Broken Steel was really the only one I played, and I really loved it. It's because that was like got to have the giant robot fight with you again. It extended the ending. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
It was cool. But yeah, that was like, man, like I feel like that era of expansions to games like these was such a so iconic.
Yeah, there was definitely lots of big, like, good stories that got told in these worlds.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was really into like the Control expansion. I thought those two were very like those kind of Fallout expansions and told really cool stories.
Yeah, I gotta get back to those. I have those. I have them both.
If you like Alan Wake, you should definitely play them.
So I watched my dad play Alan Wake, but let's listen to this audio log. Oh wait, never mind. I thought it was an audio log. It's just an installation log.
Single tier.
Cool. Nothing really happening.
I forgot 2009 when Alan Wake came out. It was like 10 years into your life.
Yeah, that was. I was like, fuck, how old was I?
You were 10.
11?
Maybe 11, yeah.
Give or take, yeah, you know. Love to be young.
Alan Wake's great, though.
I have it installed on my Xbox One. I need to play it.
Give it a shot. The game holds up. The art design, especially. Like, if you like noir-style detective stories, it's more in, like, the Stephen King vein, but it's still great.
Yeah. Let's see what's in the...
Less cocaine-induced.
Yeah, Stephen King's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
I'll say that. His books are definitely not for me.
Mm-hmm. Jacob Bryant has read all of his books.
Fuck, really?
Yeah, and he even said, when you tell him that, he's like, I know, it's a terrible idea.
That's a lot of, like...
There's a lot of garbage in there, too. Like, he's got some good ones, but he's got...
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, he's got a lot of books. That dude worked.
He did it under, like, a lot of his early stuff. Fucking get this fucking room.
How do you get in this room?
It's over here. I'm just being a dummy. But no. Yeah, Stephen King's not really my kind of guy. I don't like horror that much.
Sure, yeah. I'm not
George Cruz, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I like how Stephen King does horror, but that's completely fair.
Yeah. I think some of his early stuff is more on the interesting side. I know he just released a book last year that I bought for my father, who's a big fan of his work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Alan Wake is what I consider good Stephen King style.
Yeah, which is fair because, like, I've seen the movie It. I've seen the new Pet Cemetery, which I like the new Pet Cemetery. There was a scene in that movie that had me like almost vomiting in the movie theater, but
we've all been there, Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Did he find his dead statue dog?
Yeah. Cool. Kid, take your stupid trophy.
I'm glad. My trophy.
I can't believe his last name's fucking Mostly.
I know, it's so lame. I think he just called that statue garish also. Like, ugh.
Yeah. Let's see what he called it. Competent work, yes. A statistical anomaly. Shut up. Yeah, he called it garish.
Ugh. Clarence. Jesus, man, you're not winning any favors.
No, like no wonder he's not any hits to party.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy who's just drinking like a Bud Light in the corner just by himself. You know what I mean?
He probably doesn't get out much, honestly. He's probably home. He's in quarantine right now, not by choice. Although I guess none of us are.
Yeah. Guess what? You use statistical analysis to figure out their location. Show me your math, bitch.
Show me the math. There aren't really enough napkins in this room. That's a good
Shut
joke.
up.
That's a good joke. I'll give him that.
That's
After the project shut down,
Goodbye.
Good thing I bring a 120 set pack of printer paper with me wherever I go. Let me get this out real quick.
All right, but I think this is a good place to call it out.
Yeah, we got to meet Clarence. We heard about a mysterious
we got the clown
man.
on Clarence.
Yeah, we got the clown on Clarence a lot.
But no, this is Peril and Gorgon. I know we didn't really see a lot of action nor a lot of like what was happening, but I think the story and the world building stuff that they do here is so fascinating.
We're getting in the weeds of it. I mean, you came back to this story, this planet that you felt maybe missed the potential, and maybe that they're starting to fill out some of that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially like for someone that might be jumping into it now and can play with this there along the way. They don't have to add it after the fact. Like this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this is a good, from like what I've seen and what you've seen, Alex, this is a good like expansion of the story and the core game as well.
Yeah, I was curious if there was like maybe another character, party member or something, or weapons or whatever, but it seems more like, hey, we're just going to show you a new area and start getting into the weeds of the secrets of these corps, which is cool.
Yeah, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, totally.
But I've been your host, Quinn Hoffman, senior editor at irrationalpassions.com, and that has been Alex O'Neill.
You don't have to do the titles every time. I promise.
I know. Oh, here's the idle screen for Outer Worlds, by the way.
Yeah, iconic final shot.
Yeah, it's so good. Look at my character looking at her gun like a badass.
Check out our other viewpoints. Mike and I played the Control DLC, another DLC based viewpoints. Speaking of which.
And you guys checked out the Avengers recently too.
Yeah, the end game specifically of Marvel's Avengers to see what that loop looked like, and for folks that are maybe curious of what they'll be doing over and over again, that's a great little introduction to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out more YouTube stuff, and thanks for hanging out with me, Quinn.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for joining me on this otherworldly adventure, Alex. Got him.
End the video, Mike.
All right. Bye.